Hello, everybody. It's SLUSHIE, and we just got done reviewing Halloween 1978, the Immortal Classic. Now, next, we're going to be reviewing Halloween 2, 1981.
There is no place to hide. He will always find you. Halloween 2.
So, I have a very interesting opinion about this movie. Whenever I was younger, I absolutely adored this movie. I thought it was incredibly well done. Again, I was a kid, though, so it's a different story. For some reason, I thought it was super action-packed and super entertaining, and I'm not going to try to discount this movie as not being entertaining. It's still very entertaining. It's just not as good as when I watched it when I was a kid. I was super fascinated by it when I was a kid. It's one of the first Halloween movies I saw as a kid. Because, I got into this franchise and horror movies in general very young. I was 6 years old when I watched my first one, which was Halloween 4. We'll talk about that at a later date. This movie gets a lot of hate, and you know what? I can kind of understand a lot of what people say. It is a very slow movie. Not really a lot of stuff happens, and it's kind of crazy. It amped up the gore a little bit, which doesn't make the movie any better. All because you have more gory kills doesn't mean your movie's better. Like, you just added more blood. Big deal. The opening sequence featuring the pumpkin and the skull is probably one of the best in the entire franchise. It's amazing opening. The music, it gets a lot of shit, but I think it's pretty good music. It's not the best. The original music's the best, and then probably 4 and then 6. But this one gets a lot of hate in a lot of unnecessary categories, but I have to agree with a lot of what people say in the fact that it's slow and the portrayal of Michael Myers is just boring. I mean, Dick Warlock, the guy that plays Michael Myers, just moves so slow. It's like a snail walking across the screen. It's like, dude, move it, like, go. The thing that really weighs this movie down for me is the fact that it's supposed to take place the same night as the original, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because it doesn't even seem like the same Michael Myers. He doesn't walk the same. His movements aren't the same. His size isn't the same. The mask isn't the same. So it's like, how is it the same night? How does mask change, like, the same night? What the hell happened? How does build change so fast? What the hell happened to that? And why is he walking so different? People try to dismiss the way he walks is because he got shot 6 times. That's bullshit. Okay, he could take these shots, and it's not going to change how he walks, because later on he's doing all kinds of inhuman things with no problem. I mean, he's lifting people up off the ground with like a scalpel. If you're shot 6 times, you would not be able to have the strength to do that. If they want to go that route and say that because he was shot 6 times, he can't do certain things, that's bullshit. So that little excuse goes out the window. It's just bullshit, because they simply just didn't get the right guy to play Michael Myers, and that's just as far as it goes. You don't need to come up with a bunch of bullshit excuses. It's just not as good as the first one, and it'll never be as good as the first one for me, because of those reasons. And, I'm not going to totally shit on this movie like some people do. It's not as bad as some people have made it out to be. I can watch this and be entertained. It's still a slow movie, and I hate the portrayal of Michael Myers, but it's enjoyable. I could sit back and enjoy this if I just completely forget that it's attached to the first movie. And again, as a kid, I absolutely adored this movie. I was totally in love with this movie, and as I've grown up, I've realized all the faults with it. And I know you're not supposed to look at the faults, and I definitely don't watch a movie looking for faults. It's just as being a huge fan of the first one, you notice things. I'm like, that walk doesn't even look like him. Certain things just didn't seem anything like the original Michael Myers. So if they would have said this was a different night of a different year or something, I'd be like, okay, fine. He's older. Maybe his injuries didn't heal properly or whatever the hell you want to say. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for being the same night. It even says here, more of the night he came home, being that it's the same night. It's ridiculous. But if I had to give Halloween 2 a score out of 10, I'd have to give this film, I'll give it a 7.1 out of 10, because again, the faults with this film are just too great for me to love it as much as the original, or even half as much as the original. More power to you. If you love it, that's great. I'm glad that people out there really enjoyed this movie. And I'm glad it has its audience. I'm not going to judge people for loving this movie, and I don't judge people who hate this movie. I don't hate this movie. I don't love this movie. I'm right there in the middle, because I don't really care that much about it, but also I don't hate it, and I don't love it. So, like I said, I'm right there in the middle. I can watch and be entertained. But that's my review of Halloween 2, 1981. Even John Carpenter himself has expressed that he doesn't really like this movie at all. He supposedly got drunk while writing this movie just because he didn't want to do it. He was pretty much bribed into making this movie, so that tells you something about it. If the original creator of the first Halloween didn't want to make it, what the hell does that tell you? So it's basically a money grab. That's all it was, much like all the other sequels. None of the sequels should exist besides, the only movie that should exist in the series is the first one in 2018, because 2018 John Carpenter actually wanted to do. But that's my review of Halloween 2 1981. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What do you guys think of Halloween 2? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or are you in the middle like me? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Give it a shot at least. Hit like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you've not already. Hit that bell to get notified anytime I make a video or a stream. Keep up to date with the channels. There's something crazy going on. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Some kind of a joke? I've been trigger-treated to death tonight. You don't know what death is.
Halloween 2.